Oftentimes here on this channel, ladies and gentlemen, I talk about something that I refer to as the soft inner voice or the inner compass. And what this is, we all, if we can quiet our minds for long enough and exit our programmed thinking, we have a gentle, soft, intuitive ability to understand what we should do in life and how we can fix our problems, if that makes sense. We all have kind of an internal compass, and we can achieve this through quieting the mind, certain forms of meditation, deep relaxation, and just escaping our normal conditioned way of thinking. But the problem with addiction and alcoholism is that when we enter into an addictive pattern, those addictive substances become so important to us that we by default learn to mute out that soft inner voice. And that's a huge problem, because that soft inner voice is an aspect of your higher self. It's an aspect of your heart. It's an aspect of you that wants to see you live and thrive and be successful and bring whatever it is that you came here to do to the world. But when you're addicted to something, ladies and gentlemen, oftentimes you get so caught up in the false feel-good energy, so to speak, if we want to call it that, of your substance. It makes you feel good. It allows you to escape an issue or a perceived issue. Oftentimes that feels so good, and the escape is so real and feels so comforting that we learn to mute out that soft inner guiding voice, your inner God, we can call it. Now, the more you do this, the more you run the risk of getting yourself into a lot of trouble, because the more you don't listen to that soft inner voice, the more it has to raise its voice to get your attention. And it often does so because you're unable to tune in to yourself and your own needs through quieting your mind or just listening to your instincts. Ladies and gentlemen, you don't have to just quiet your mind. You know what's right from what's wrong. When you go to the liquor store the third or fourth night in a row to get your booze, that you shouldn't be there. You know you shouldn't be there, but you mute that out. You push it away. You repress it. And the more you repress it, the more you run the risk of engaging in these experiences where you get humbled by the substance, such as a near-death experience, or you get in trouble with the law, or you do something that you end up regretting. Those things are trying to snap you out of your trajectory, where you're going, because where you're going usually leads to a little place known as 6 feet under, which I don't want to see that happen to you. And it happens to so many people every year. It's so sad. But when you've got to learn to listen to that inner voice. Let's put it this way. If you're an addict right now, and next time you go to get your fix and you actually listen to that inner voice and you turn around and you walk away, or you don't buy your pack of cigarettes, when you leave and you get in that car and you're sober and you choose to turn your life around, that is going to be the most liberating drive of your life. All sorts of new opportunities are going to start opening in front of you and blossoming. You are going to create new pathways, because an addiction is a cause and effect reaction. It's like a cycle. And that cycle continues to wear you down and beat you down and beat you down. You can, however, choose to get off of the hamster wheel, metaphorically speaking, get on your own 2 feet and just be free. And you're not going to be free until you get away from those goddamn substances that are killing you and siphoning and sucking the life force out of you like a goddamned vampire, like a tick, like a leech, ladies and gentlemen. It's amazing how many people contact me who have serious drug and alcohol issues, who, they think they're living some spiritual life. They think that these substances are giving them benefit, some type of enhancement on the journey, so to speak. It's like booze is destroying your liver. It's killing your gut microbiome. It's taking away your life, literally. And all the tobacco and a lot of these other drugs out here are just horrible for you. You want to live a spiritual life? Get sober. Learn to attain peace. Learn to attain higher states of consciousness from a sober perspective. Otherwise, what you're doing is you're setting up yourself subconsciously a belief system where you think that in order for you to attain something better, is to always look for drugs. You teach yourself that you can't find peace from a sober perspective, that you can't find an enriching life from a sober perspective. Ladies and gentlemen, this body and this mind, this consciousness has the ability to produce states of consciousness that far supersede the peace or the numbing qualities of your substance. Or in some instances, people use certain drugs and stuff for spiritual purposes. Ladies and gentlemen, your body and your mind can produce all of this stuff and beyond, but it's just amazing. I'm not even going to get into that. Excuse me. That's a discussion for a completely different video. I want to tell you, I don't want to make this video very long. I want to tell you one or two of my stories from when I didn't listen to my soft inner voice. And two of I think I've discussed one of them in one of my previous videos, ladies and gentlemen. But there was one period of time where, and this wasn't when I was an alcoholic, but this was when I was experimenting with substances that I shouldn't have been. I went and I picked up one of my friends, and we decided to go buy something that we shouldn't be buying. I'm not going to name what it was. I think you catch my drift, though. And we drove to this particular place to pick this substance up, and the whole time I had this horrible feeling in my gut that I was doing something wrong, that I was doing something evil, that I was doing something that wasn't in line with my purpose. And the entire time I just felt dread, but for some reason I couldn't ignore it because it was so strong, but I kept driving to this particular place to get this particular thing. Excuse me. Once I got there, ladies and gentlemen, the feeling got so strong that it was undeniable. And all of a sudden I started hearing these smacking noises on the top of my vehicle. And in the middle of a bright sunny day with no clouds, hail was being thrown onto my vehicle in a 15-foot or 20-foot radius around my vehicle and nowhere else. There was my car, depicted as this piece of malachite. Let's see. And then there was a circle of hail being thrown down on my vehicle in a 15 to 20-foot radius. There was no hail anywhere else. And this entire time that this was happening, I knew that this was a byproduct. This was a sign that I shouldn't be doing what I was doing. But I didn't listen to that voice, regardless of how strong that message was. And I ended up having not only one of the most dangerous nights of my life, but one of the most hellish nights of my life, if we can call it that. I'll talk more about that night and this experience in the near future because there's some other things that I'm leaving out because I want to make this video short. Now, another time when I was going to pick something up that I shouldn't have been, I drove somewhere and picked this particular substance up with this same individual that I went with to get the previous substance with the hail. Hope this makes sense. Excuse me. And when I picked that substance up, I felt incredibly lost. I had felt lost for weeks abusing these drugs and whatnot. And I grabbed the substance that I bought and put it in my hand. And I put it next to I put it in a little cubby. My Volvo has these little, on the doors, they have these little door slots where you can put things. So I put this particular substance in that slot. And as I was driving through this parking lot at like 5 miles an hour, I softly told myself, if there are angels out there, if God is watching me and God doesn't want me to do what I'm doing, please give me a sign within the next 30 seconds. And right when I finished that prayer, I hit a speed bump. And because my suspension was messed up in my vehicle, it had a lot of give to it. And my car kind of shook up over the speed bump and hit kind of hard. And the item fell out of that little door slot, went past my face. I watched it fall. It hit right next to my accelerator, my gas pedal, bounced off of that particular region, bounced again, and then fell underneath a slot, a little tiny groove where my seat attached to the railing, that literally the seat's attached to the vehicle. And I didn't know that that's where it went at the time, but there was my sign. And what did I do? I drove to my friend's house, and we had his mechanic brother come out and disassemble the entire seat assembly. And I shit you not, that little tiny tablet went into a groove that was so small that we could hardly actually get the substance out of the railing, and it was at the back of the seat, the seat mechanism. I hope that makes sense. I don't know exactly what these things are called or whatnot. The mechanism are the pieces of metal that hold the seat, but basically the seat sits in the vehicle on a railing, two pieces of metal, and there's a hollow point, and the pill fell through that hollow point and went all the way to the back of the assembly, to the point where we had to take the entire seat off, take all these bolts off just to get to that little substance, which somehow, some way, beyond me, it fit through this tiny little hole. The hole that it flew through and then went back into this metal tube was barely big enough for the pill, the tablet, to squeeze into. So, and I didn't, we finally got the substance and we ended up using it, and it was one of the worst nights of my life. Not listening to that soft inner voice will get you into a lot of trouble. And how do you listen to the soft inner voice? You have to come to terms with the fact that you're doing something wrong. You have to come to terms with the fact that you're not fulfilling your life's purpose. Once you realize that what you're doing is absolutely wrong, it makes leaving a lot easier. But that temporary like that little high you get, that thrill from being an addict, that gets the best of many people. And it supersedes the ability for you to even listen to that soft inner voice. So I'm going to wrap this one up, you guys. I wanted to go a little bit longer, but I need to keep this one short. I have a lot of stuff I need to get done today. I just wanted to share with you 2 of my experiences with not listening to my inner voice, and I have enough of these experiences to fill a book, which I plan on doing. But until next time, peace be with you all. Listen to that voice, change your life, uplift your health, take care of yourself, regenerate your body, reverse the damage you've done if you're an addict, and live. Peace be with you.